Chapter 351, Multitask Gu. The two dog groups were at a stalemate. At Fang Yuan's side, the blue-color lightning symbol dog were at the main position, with the gray hedgedogs as support along with the orange chrysanthemum Cicada dogs. As for the steel armor dog groups, it was a sea of black. Fang Yuan mobilized the big lightning symbol dog to the front, waving his hand and sending the dogs out to attack as the vanguard. Big steel armor dog barked. Upon seeing the big lightning symbol dog appear, it stepped into the battlefield as well. Beside it, the steel armor dog group followed closely behind. They were like a huge black cloud, flying down from the mound, giving off a terrifying aura. The dog groups clashed together. Fang Yuan had a limited number of vanguards, quickly engulfed by the huge number of steel armor dogs. But because of the big lightning symbol dog's existence, the steel armor dog group could not take them down so easily. The big lightning symbol dog was after all 100 Beast King. Under the attack of the dog group, it was able to handle them left and right, putting up a brave fight. Ordinary steel armor dogs were not its match. Woof! The big steel armor dog stepped out, finally stopping the assault of the big lightning symbol dog. Only 100 Beast King could stop 100 Beast King. As the intense battle continued, big lightning symbol dog started to weaken. It had just undergone a battle earlier, and there was still injuries on it, causing its battle strength to be lower than usual. Furthermore, its specialty was speed, but it was going head-to-head with the big steel armor dog who specialized in defense. It obviously had the disadvantage. Fang Yuan saw this, and sent his dog group over. The new troops flowed in like a river, entering the battle causing chaos. But the enemy was the steel armor dogs, experts at defense, most adept at such battles. Although Fang Yuan sent out his army, and only left a few dog guards behind to protect himself, he could not change the situation. Be it the 100 Beast King battle, or the dog group battle, he was at a disadvantage. But Fang Yuan was not worried. The truth is, this was what he wanted all along. He was waiting. Waiting for the weapon which suppressed the steel armor dogs to appear. Woof! Big lightning symbol dog could not block the attack of the big steel armor dog, and suddenly barked, shooting out a mouthful of blue plasma. Rank 2 Plasma Gu. This is it. Fang Yuan's eyes shone brightly, as his lips curled up. Steel armor dog group gathered at their dog king, attacking the big lightning symbol dog while enduring the attacks of Fang Yuan's dog group, causing them to be closely packed together, like the shape of a black bucket. Blue plasma landed on the ground, splattering. Large amounts of plasma landed on the steel armor dogs, causing their bodies to vibrate as they cried. Not only did their battle strength fall, the formation of the entire dog group was broken and heavily obstructed. The armor on the steel armor dogs were of metallic element. Although the steel gave them superior defenses, it also made them unable to resist the power of electricity. The attack power of Plasma Gu was not high, but once used on the steel armor dogs, it was a formidable move. The big lightning symbol dog shot out plasma continuously, as plasma covered the entire battlefield, heavily weakening the battle strength of the steel armor dogs. The firm steel-like formation had collapsed under the effects of Plasma Gu. Fang Yuan saw an opportunity, and commanded the dogs to charge. The dog group outside worked together with the big lightning symbol dog in the middle, unleashing a high offensive power. If one watched from the sky, they would see that the large black area was first eroded by blue color, before being devoured by the surrounding blend of colors. Black continued to reduce, while blue, yellow, and gray overtook them and dominated the field. The situation changed quickly. Soon, Fang Yuan regained his control, killing most of the steel armor dogs and encircling the big steel armor dog in the middle. Feeling danger, the Gu worm on the big steel armor dog started to work. Big steel armor dog gained more strength, while black spikes grew out of its body. 15 minutes later, the big steel armor dog's throat was torn by the big lightning symbol dog, and fell indignantly. Its blood flowed on the ground, but it did not get up anymore. The battle ended. As for the two Gu worms on the big steel armor dog, one was destroyed during the battle while the other flew away. Fang Yuan's expression was grim. In order to kill this 100-beast king, he paid a huge price. He only had half of his dog group left, and it would be a problem for his remaining battles. After 20 rounds, beast kings would appear. With the beast king, the dog groups would display greater battle strength. At the same time, the beast king itself was a huge threat. The more Gu worms on its body, the stronger it is, and the worse the situation would be for the Gu master fighting it. Fang Yuan's luck was bad this time. The big steel armored dog he encountered this time had two Gu. Especially when one of the Gu was good at attack and defense, causing Fang Yuan to suffer great losses. One's own luck matters when challenging the Three Kings' inheritance. The steel armor dog group was Fang Yuan's best choice this time, but his luck was not as good. A rank 2 dog enslavement Gu fell from above, as his prize for winning. Fang Yuan did not use the spring-autumn cicada, he instantly refined the Gu with the help of the heavenly power. This Gu is the key to getting past the next round. With such a resolution, Fang Yuan stepped into the fog. Left, center, right, there were light shadows at all three directions. They were a large numbers of corpse dogs, a certain number of yin dogs, and a huge number of hyenas. Fang Yuan's eyes glowed as he analyzed. This time, his strength was limited, thus he had to choose wisely, fighting a weak enemy while thinking of the reward of winning. If I defeat the corpse dog group, I get a white silver relic Gu. Killing the yin dogs give me a 2 tasks at once Gu. White silver relic Gu was no use to Fang Yuan. At this stage, only yellow gold relic Gu had an attraction to him. But unfortunately, yellow gold relic Gu was heavily controlled even in Shang Clan City. Rank 4 Gu masters were experts in the mortal Gu master realm. One yellow gold relic Gu could affect the battle strength among rank 4 Gu masters greatly. In the market, white silver relic Gu was sold normally, while yellow gold relic Gu were extremely rare, often held in the hands of the higher-ups. Fang Yuan knew, super clans like Shang Clan had lots of yellow gold relic Gu in their inventory. But even with the purple thorn token, he could not get them. Shang Yanfei held these yellow gold relic Gu in his hand, refusing to let them enter the market. This was a secret temptation. If Fang Yuan truly joined Shang Clan, the yellow gold relic Gu would be a form of reward. Shang Yanfei's brilliance was not something a commoner could understand. Fang Yuan did not want to compete with him in wits and strength just for a yellow gold relic Gu, and cause his own plans to be stalled. In the Three Kings' inheritance, there are yellow gold relic Gu. But only after the 40th round, if I can get one, the situation would improve greatly. Fang Yuan had desire towards the yellow gold relic Gu. But he knew, whether he could get one was all attributed to his own luck. He could not force this. As for the 2 tasks at once Gu, it could allow the Gu master to split his mind into 2 and was extremely effective in manipulating worm or beast armies. Fang Yuan himself could do 4 tasks at once. If he added in this Gu, he would be able to do 6 tasks at once. 2 tasks at once Gu is only a rank 2 Gu. Going higher, there are 3 tasks at once, 4 tasks at once, 5 tasks at once and so on. Multitask Gu is the most important tool for an enslavement path Gu master. Wait, this is... Fang Yuan looked at the right, after the hyenas disappeared, it showed a token. An ordinary reward is an enslavement path Gu. But this reward was slightly special, it was an ordinary-looking token. The token was rough and had an irregular shape, like it was casually molded into shape by someone. On the surface, there was the carving of Xianxia Mountain, but this map was extremely casual and ugly, giving a strong feeling of half-heartedness. With one glance, one can easily tell that the person who made this token did not put in any effort, only doing it out of necessity. But once Fang Yuan saw this token, his eyes lit up. King Quan Travel Token. He immediately forgot about the white-silver relic Gu, 2 tasks at once Gu. What luck to have encountered this token, I must get it. Fang Yuan had a determined mind, he had to get this token at all costs. Although this token looked worthless, it was one of the best items. Right now, no one knew its worth yet, but Fang Yuan knew clearly, towards the end of the Three Kings' inheritance in his previous life, the price of such a token was as high as a rank 4 Gu. But this hyena pack is huge, and there are 2 dog kings. If I choose this path, the risks are huge. The best scenario is that I enslave one of the 2 big hyenas during battle. But even so, if I win this battle, I would suffer huge losses and would lose the ability to advance further. Fang Yuan had a clear understanding of his own strength. The advantage of experience was shown here, it allowed him to clearly know the advantages and disadvantages of every choice. Fang Yuan thought about it and decided to take a risk. Since he walked on the demonic path, he had to take risks, by taking the extreme path, he would gain the biggest profits. Having no regrets after every choice, this was truly being alive. 4 hours later. An intense battle ended. On and below the mound, there were dog corpses everywhere. Fresh blood flowed as limbs decorated the ground. Fang Yuan stood on the mound, slightly injured. In this Gu immortal blessed land, he could not use his Gu, causing him to be extremely weakened. But I won anyway. Fang Yuan looked at his surroundings, only a dozen or so dogs were left, as he sighed deeply. Losing almost all the dogs that he had, there was no longer any hope of advancing in this cruel demonic inheritance. But Fang Yuan had the last bit of hope in his mind. The heavenly power descended, sending him into the fog once again. If I encounter Bai Ningbing, by borrowing her strength, I would be able to continue. But Fang Yuan was to be disappointed. All 3 directions led to dog groups. If he did not have the travel token, Fang Yuan would definitely die. He took out the travel token. Grasping it tightly, he bit the tip of his tongue and spit out some blood. The blood landed on the token, and Fang Yuan opened his mouth, saying to the token softly, "Woof." The token emitted a strong light, as it tore through space, dragging Fang Yuan with it. In the silent fog, there was no one left. Chapter 352, Casually Killed. Mountain winds gently blew. In an ordinary bamboo forest in the middle of Xianxia Mountain, the space suddenly shattered and light burst out. The light flickered away instantly. In a bush where there had been no one before, a person appeared. It was a youth with black hair, black pupils and a calm face. He was holding a token, it was Fang Yuan. I have exited King Quan inheritance. Fang Yuan had only felt his eyes blur for a moment, and the next moment, he was at a strange place. He looked around, confirming there was no danger around him and that he was somewhere around the middle of Xianxia Mountain. According to his initial estimation, he was now at the northern side of Xianxia Mountain, while the cave he had occupied with Bai Ningbing was on the southeast side. He raised his head and looked at the peak. Xianxia Mountain possessed 3 peaks which stood high in the clouds like 3 equal spear tips. The light pillars on the peaks were gradually dying down. The yellow light pillar represented the entrance to King Quan inheritance, the blue light pillar was King Xin inheritance, and the red light pillar was King Bao inheritance. The size of the light pillars had already decreased by around half compared to when Fang Yuan had just entered. With the passing of time, the number of Gu masters that entered the inheritances increased while the light pillars would continue to become small till it completely disappeared. At that time, the entrances to the three inheritances would be closed. After another round of waiting, the light pillars would activate again and bring in a new round of carnage. Fang Yuan looked at the token in his hand. On the surface of this unsightly King Quan token, there were now several deep cracks. Fang Yuan was not surprised. King Quan travel token could be used for 3 times at most. After 3 uses, the token would completely crack into pieces and could not be used anymore. However, these 3 chances for retreating were extremely precious. This was not only a chance to survive, the even more important thing was the Gu master would have a psychological superiority and could choose their paths more freely. Fang Yuan stored this travel token carefully and hurried towards his cave. Ah, it is Fang Zheng. Little Beast King has finally appeared. On the whole way, Fang Yuan ran into many Gu masters, regardless of righteous path or demonic path, they all casted a strange and amazed look at him. What happened? Fang Yuan frowned, he keenly sensed that something rather important had happened. Halfway to his cave, he casually grabbed someone and questioned. It turns out Bai Ningbing killed a Tai clan Gu master in King Quan inheritance. After she came out of the inheritance, she was immediately discovered by Tai clan. Tai clan Gu masters surrounded the cave and trapped Bai Ningbing. 4 rank 4 middle stage Gu masters moved at the same time and used iron cabinet Gu to lock down the nearby area. Bai Ningbing could not force her way through it and was now being attacked continuously by Tai clan Gu masters. Lord Little Beast King, this matter has been made a big deal and the whole Xianxia mountain knows about it. This is no longer a matter of personal hatred but it represents the battle between the righteous path and us demonic path. Actually, everyone is waiting for you. Lord, if you act, those Tai clan Gu masters won't be able to block you. You are our demonic path's genius, our demonic path's flag. Lord, I have said everything there is to say, can I take my leave now? That unlucky guy grabbed by Fang Yuan begged in a sobbing voice. Such a big thing happened. Fang Yuan slightly furrowed his brows while holding the unfortunate guy by the collar. Although this news could startle anyone when they first hear it, it was not beyond Fang Yuan's anticipation. There were naturally going to be conflicts as they moved through the 3 kings' inheritance. This was a demonic path inheritance, the competition was extremely cruel. Sometimes, even if one wanted to retreat, they could not. Tai clan has rust flower Gu, this Gu is stored in the souls of Tai clansmen. Whoever kills Tai clansmen would be stained with this formless fragrance. It is not surprising Bai Ningbing was found out. Fang Yuan nodded while mumbling to himself. Lord, you are truly knowledgeable, you are extremely right. Lord, you don't know that your disappearance these few days caused everyone on Xianxia Mountain to comment and say you are an ostrich and are afraid of being involved with a top clan like Tai clan. Do I not know what kind of person Lord is? Lord, you are the one I admire the most, since you arrived at Xianxia Mountain, you have killed the tyrant, Fei Li and Sky Tiger. Is there anyone who do not know of your fame and reputation? You definitely have some reason that the outsiders don't need to know. Right now if you act, those Tai clansmen will definitely wet their pants in fear and implore Lord to let them off. Fang Yuan had great strength and as he grabbed this unlucky guy's collar, the unlucky guy was having trouble breathing and his face was becoming purplish. However, for survival, this Gu master talked non-stop, flattering from start to end, showing his immense will to survive. Fang Yuan fell silent, and only after a long while did he slowly speak. You are right. He loosened his hand. This rank 2 Gu master immediately flushed with joy. What kind of person is Lord? Any discerning person would be clear of it. Lord is absolutely a great hero, great warrior. Those slandering Lord are bastards, they are all blind. Lord, I have always supported you and argued with others for you. He he. Fang Yuan suddenly laughed coldly. His hand moved like lightning, like an eagle's claws, as he suddenly pinched this rank 2 Gu master's neck. Crack! The Gu master's eyes quickly widened, the spinal bone on his neck was completely crushed by Fang Yuan and he lost his life on the spot. Gasp! Upon seeing this, the Gu masters observing from the shadows drew in a cold breath sharply. Fang Yuan was an influential figure, and because of Bai Ningbing's matter, the moment he appeared, his tracks were revealed and his every movement was watched by many. Fang Yuan killed this person and immediately searched his body. Unfortunately, whether it was on him or his aperture, all the Gu worms had self-destructed. Fang Yuan attacked extremely fast, but how could it be faster than a person's thought? The speed a person could send a thought was as fast as a jolt of electricity, even a blink of an eye could not match 1% of its speed. In the outside world, the probability of getting Gu worms as the spoils of battle against Gu masters was quite low. It was not like at Three Kings' Inheritance with the heavenly powers restriction where Gu at rank 5 and below could not self-destruct. Seeing Fang Yuan's skilled body-searching method, the many Gu masters observing from the darkness felt the chill intensify further in their spine. Such skillfulness, how many people has he killed? Fang Jing does not let even rank 2 Gu worms go, he is clearly a rank 4, we can see how greedy his nature is. Fang Zheng is extremely addicted to killing. That Gu master was clearly begging him and was of no threat to him, but he still did not let him go. Have you guys seen enough? If you have, then screw off. Fang Yuan stood arrogantly and shouted while looking around him with a fierce gaze. Soon after, human figures emerged from the lush bushes, trees, creeks, and from under the soil and stones. These figures quickly retreated and disappeared within seconds. The area around Fang Yuan had once again regained peacefulness. It was really difficult to imagine that there were so many people hiding. Fang Yuan had a great reputation for his violence now, he killed 3 rank 4 demonic Gu masters in a row, he got things done by hook or by crook, he was despicable and cold-blooded, and was fiercely addicted to killing. These people had their courage broken by Fang Yuan's one simple sentence and did not dare to linger around Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan snorted and looked around him once again before proudly leaving this place. But he knew, he was still being monitored from within the darkness. The ones scared off by him were all shrimps. The remaining ones were all unique, with the capital to be confident. Fang Yuan was not concerned about them and strutted out of this place. In truth, although he had outstanding battle prowess now, he still had a weakness in the investigative aspect. Moreover, these Gu masters who were secretly following and monitoring him were sure to also be experts at speed. Even if Fang Yuan discovered them, he only had charging Crash Gu and it would be fairly difficult for him to chase them. Where is he going? This direction is not towards the area where Bai Ningbing is trapped. Did he discover me? Just now when he looked around, my heart skipped a beat. Is Little Beast King afraid? Wait a moment, this cave seems to be Li Xian's residence. These Gu masters followed after Fang Yuan cautiously, they were all inwardly surprised when they saw Fang Yuan stop in front of a cave. Hi's partner, the inseparable white demon Bai Ningbing was trapped, but Little Beast King did not seem to be the least bit anxious. Instead, he walked towards Li Xian's residence. Li Xian was a demonic path Gu master at rank 4 upper stage. He was cunning and never suffered losses, a troublesome character. Could it be Little Beast King was looking to find trouble for Xian? The Gu masters following Fang Yuan secretly made guesses. Fang Yuan's arrival immediately attracted Xian's attention. Xian was already near his cave setting up detecting methods. Lord Little Beast King, truly a rare guest. You came to my place, what can I do for you? Xian took the initiative to greet Fang Yuan. He approached Fang Yuan and cupped his fists as a greeting at a distance of 20 steps. He did not dare to be too close to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was a temperamental ruffian. Xian, this unscrupulous merchant, was also on edge when facing him. Fang Yuan's visit was beyond his expectation. Who knew what Fang Yuan, this lunatic, cunning and shameless guy, would do next? Thus, Xian appeared calm on the surface and was full of smiles, but he was already extremely vigilant. I came to you naturally for business. What's wrong, are you not going to invite me in? Fang Yuan smiled with an indistinct gaze. Since you are a customer, I will of course welcome you. Please come in, come in. Xian's gaze flashed and he moved aside, letting Fang Yuan enter first. Fang Yuan strutted past him and glanced at Xian. Xian smiled and walked alongside Fang Yuan into his cave. They have gone inside. I can't follow them anymore, there are investigative Gu installed around the cave. If I trespass, I will definitely be treated as an enemy by Xian. Is Little Beast King really going to make a deal? Why do I feel Xian is out of luck this time? I can already predict the scene of the explosive and tremendous battle between the two. Xian is at rank 4 upper stage, he definitely has many trump cards. If a fight erupts, it is sure to be a battle of dragon and tiger. Outside the cave, the group of Gu masters could only stop and stretch their necks to look at the dark cave. Chapter 353, Thunder Boar, Rock Crocodile. Inside the cave. Xian asked Fang Yuan to take a seat and then sat beside him. Please have some tea. Xian stretched his short and thick fingers, his hand opened up and a fragrant tea appeared on his open palm. Fang Yuan looked at the tea, but did not accept it or even budged. Instead he sighed, Eastern Sea's Blue Sky Gu is really handy. Not only does it have a large capacity, far surpassing others of the same level, it is also easy and convenient to use. I didn't expect Sir Little Beast King to recognize this Gu. Xian's gaze slightly flickered. He was not from southern border, but came drifting to here from Eastern Sea. Blue Sky Gu was a Gu unique to Eastern Sea and was very uncommon at that. When Xian had dealings with other people, he frequently used this Gu to show his methods. Southern border Gu masters did not recognize this Gu, and when they saw such a method for the first time, they would often look more highly at Xian. Fang Yuan smiled and slowly said, this rank 4 Blue Sky Gu is fused from rank 3 Sky Granary Gu. The success rate is quite low, so it is rare even in Eastern Sea. If Blue Sky Gu is to be advanced to rank 5, the best method is to fuse it with Sky Well Gu, to form rank 5 Blue Sky Well Gu. And this Sky Well Gu is a natural Gu found only in Eastern Sea's Tianjing Island. Xian, if you want to advance it, it will be troublesome. Here in southern border, only Yi clan might have Sky Well Gu. Yi clan along with Shang clan, Wu clan and Tai clan, was a top clan and had very close relation to Eastern Sea's forces. Yi clan's businesses are very prosperous, second only to Shang clan. Their flying blue whale caravan could move through the sky, which even Shang clan did not have. Blue Sky Gu, Sky Well Gu, Blue Sky Well Gu and Tianjing Island, how does Little Beast King know it so clearly? Xian was startled and suspicious when he heard Fang Yuan's words. The world of Gu masters was extremely vast, there were also barriers that acted like heavenly chasm between southern border, northern plains, eastern seas, western desert and central continent. It was very difficult to communicate with each other and news were also blocked. Li Xian had already investigated all details on Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan was born in southern border and he was so young, how could he have such experiences? Even knowing detailed information about Eastern Sea. A vague pressure started to form in Li Xian's mind. Strange, strange. What is the origin of this little beast king? How could he know so much? Could there be an expert behind him? With his age and experience, how could he know such details? Oh yeah, he stayed for quite a while at Shang Clan City and might have received guidance from Shang Yanfei. Shang Yanfei is Shang Clan leader, a rank 5 upper stage Gu master, an expert at the peak of the mortal world. It is not strange for Little Beast King to know these under his guidance. Li Xian's gaze continually flickered, his heart covered with haze of doubts. His whole body was in a stiff position and his palm was still holding the purple clay teapot. No. Suddenly, his thoughts flashed like lightning as he thought of the main thing. I originally wanted to display my methods and pressure him down. To think I became overly suspicious and my mind became uneasy just from Little Beast King's several words. Even if he has Shang Yanfei behind him, so what? Others might be afraid, but I, Li Xian, have my own means. Humph. Li Xian softly snorted and placed the teapot on the table. He took this chance to calm his mind. He was, after all, an elite of the demonic path and adjusted his mind in just few breaths' time. He then faced Feng Yuan calmly. It was just that there were some cautiousness and graveness in his eyes now. Sir Little Beast King, please taste the tea. What transaction do you want to make with me? Li Xian asked. You don't need to think much, it is only a simple transaction. Feng Yuan said, then took out some Gu worms from his aperture and showed to Li Xian. These Gu worms were the loot he seized from the Gu masters he killed in King Quan inheritance. There were rank 3 and rank 4 Gu, but they were not suitable for Feng Yuan's strength path. Li Xian could not help narrowing his eyes when he saw these Gu. He was a very shrewd person and immediately realized many things. Who would have expected this Little Beast King to also have some accomplishments in enslavement path? After entering King Quan inheritance, he killed 2 Gu masters. Such talent is truly demonic. Li Xian could not help but think of Mo Wu Tian. After he came to southern border, he had walked on the demonic path for a long time, coming into contact with all sorts of people. He felt that just based on aptitude, talent and temperament, among the younger generation of the demonic path, Mo Wu Tian was at the top. However, now, he realized the Little Beast King in front him had a talent that was not inferior to Mo Wu Tian's. Little Beast King and Mo Wu Tian, I wonder what will happen if these two came across each other. It is just that the current Little Beast King's cultivation is somewhat weak. Mo Wu Tian is older than him and is already rank 4 peak stage. Li Xian pondered, he spoke excitedly, however, Sir Little Beast King, you did the right thing finding me for this transaction. I have a Gu on me which I believe will be important to Sir. Oh. Feng Yuan raised his brows. Li Xian spread out his palm and a ball suddenly appeared. This ball looked nice, shining with white gold light. Feng Yuan carefully looked at it and saw that the ball was an ant ball, over 100 flying ants crawling on each other and sticking together to form a ball. These flying ants did not look any different from normal ants. Except, they were several times larger and they had a pair of transparent wings on their back. This is rank 3 gold-eating flying ant Gu, altogether, there are 120. Those several old fellows from Tai clan trapped Lord White Demon by using Iron Cabinet Gu along with Chief Lo Gu. Now, the 1,000 feet around that area has been locked down. However, the iron cabinet Gu will collapse easily against this group of flying ants. Sir Little Beast King, I have just calculated, the price of your Gu is just good enough to buy this group of flying ants. Li Xian smiled warmly. However, beyond his expectation, Fang Yuan only glanced at this gold-consuming flying ant Gu once before shifting his gaze. Who said I am going to buy this thing? This is the list of items, I want all the things written on it. Li Xian accepted the list and glanced at it. There were many Gu worms and numerous supplementary materials for refining Gu written on it. Although there were all kinds of items on the list, with Li Xian's experience and shrewdness, it was not difficult for him to see these things were all necessary for Strength Path. Bai Ningbing has been trapped by Tai Clan. How come this little beast king is not in the least bit worried? Strange. It won't be easy for him to get rid of Iron Cabinet Gu with just the Strength Path Gu on him. Does he have some special methods? Or maybe, the items on this list is to refine the nemesis of Iron Cabinet Gu. Li Xian narrowed his eyes, a bright light flashed past the slit of his eyes. He probed, Sir Little Beast King, there are all sorts of things on this list, I cannot bring them out in a short while. Moreover, their total price far surpassed the price of these Gu you are selling. No problem, no problem. Fang Yuan waved his hand, I want to buy all the items on this list. Give me whatever you have currently. As for the others, I will have to trouble you to pay attention to them. Money is not a problem. Fang Yuan had a lot of primeval stones on him, his financial resources were adequate enough. Li Xian laughed, he could not probe out anything so he only nodded and agreed. Inside a cave, lights flickered. Fang Yuan was sitting cross-legged on the ground, his whole attention on ball of paste in front of him. This paste was multicolored and was floating in the air, rolling and churning continually, and gave out a strange fragrance. The Gu fusion process had reached the critical stage. Fang Yuan constantly threw in primeval stones. Primeval stones entered the paste and immediately dissolved into essence liquid, diluting the thick paste. Fang Yuan continued to throw in primeval stones without care, only after the paste thinned to a certain degree did he stop. Then, he quickly took out a Thunderclap Gu. Thunderclap Gu was a rank 3 Gu. The paste swallowed it up and immediately flickered lightning. In a split second, the fragrance in the air was magnified greatly, the multicolored light dispersed and was replaced with abundant blue light. The lightning produced soft crackling sounds like the combustion of tiny firecrackers. Fang Yuan's breathing accelerated and when he smelled a burnt smell in the air, his eyes shone with bright light. It is time, all-out effort Gu. Boar Phantom immediately appeared above him. Strength Chi Gu. Fang Yuan activated Strength Chi Gu, the Boar Phantom adhered to the formless Strength Chi, immediately become very menacing. Under Fang Yuan's will, the Boar Phantom flew towards the paste. The instant the two collided, lightning burst out and shone upon the whole cave, dispersing all the darkness and revealing all the details in the room clearly. After the light dispersed, the Boar Phantom in mid-air had experienced a huge change. The new Boar Phantom was twice the original size, its tusks were like that of an elephant's and its whole body was covered with white fur. Especially the fur at its back, they were thick and long, lined up in rows, stiffly pointing towards the sky, and lightning curled up on them. Lightning Boar Phantom. Success, great. Thunder Boar is equal to Dragon Elephant, Biao and Mastiff. With the Thunder Boar strength, my battle strength has increased again. Next it is the Rock Crocodile strength. A night of cultivation unknowingly passed. When the light of dawn shone upon San Cha Mountain, Fang Yuan walked out of the cave he stayed at. Although he was exhausted, he was happy inside. He successfully upgraded Boar Strength and Crocodile Strength to Thunder Boar Strength and Rock Crocodile Strength. his battle strength was raised by at least 30%. Bai Ningbing. He looked towards the southeast direction. An area on the middle of the mountain was covered with a dark purple chi barrier. The chi barrier was like a tall tower, sealing the space within and isolating it from the outside world. The combination of Iron Cabinet Gu and Chi Flow Gu caused Bai Ningbing to become a trapped beast of Tai Clan. Fong Yuan let out a cold snort. The situation looked simple, but it was a tricky matter. The 4 old-timers of Tai Clan who trapped Bai Ningbing were all at rank for middle stage. Although Bai Ningbing was a genius, she was only at rank for initial stage. If the Tai Clan was truly set on capturing Bai Ningbing, they would have already captured her, but they did not. On one hand, it was to maintain their strength to fight for 3 kings' inheritance. On another hand, it was because they were held back by the purple thorn token on Bai Ningbing. Finally, it was to bait Fong Yuan. In case Fong Yuan rashly charged in, T-Clan's 4 old-timers could combine their strength to activate the rank 5 search and lock Gu to easily suppress him and Bai Ningbing. In Fong Yuan's previous life, Tai Clan's 4 old-timers had used this killer move to capture demonic path's Kong Ri Tian. But soon after, they were killed by a rank 3 Gu master. Rank 5 search and lock Gu had an extremely huge demand towards primeval essence. Tai Clan's 4 old-timers were really tragic figures. They cultivated the killer move for so many years and finally were in the limelight, but the scene did not last long because they lacked primeval essence and were killed by a rank 3 Gu master. Chapter 354, Ancient Bronze Skin Gu. Dark purple chi barrier was like a high tower firmly locking in 1,000 meters of area. The chi barrier, however, did not isolate sight. Who knew how many eyes were secretly watching the scene from outside the barrier? Bai Ningbing, just let yourself be captured obediently. It is impossible for you to escape. Tai Clan's 4 old-timers occupied east, south, west and north positions separately, locking Bai Ningbing in the center. Bai Ningbing was sitting cross-legged on a boulder, her 2 hands holding primeval stones as she replenished her primeval essence. Bai Ningbing, don't hold any delusions. You killed our Tai clansmen, and still thinking you will be able to escape. Humph. The 4 old-timers' gazes were grave and started fixedly at Bai Ningbing, encircling her with no gaps. Bai Ningbing slowly opened her narrowed eyes, her eyes were calm and her tone was indifferent. Tai Clan's 4 old-timers, what use is it in speaking so much? If you want to capture and kill me, then bring it on. Even if I, Bai Ningbing, die at your hands, I will definitely take a few of you down. She paused for a while before continuing, you have been continuously maintaining this chi barrier, it should have consumed a lot of your primeval essence, right? Hehe, I know you 4 are experts at team battle tactics while I am only at rank for initial stage. But you can bet on it that if you killed me, even if you guys don't die, you will definitely be heavily injured. And in case my partner appears, what will become of you then? You. The 4 old-timers of Tai Clan were exasperated. Bai Ningbing might have borrowed Fong Yuan's name, but it struck their weak spot. Bai Ningbing, stop being stubborn. Here, let me see what you can do. One of the old-timers stood up. He. Bai Ningbing softly smiled and slowly stood up to take the challenge. Silver hair and snow-white clothes, with a grace that stood out from the crowd, even if she was trapped, she was still calm, a confident bearing that showed she had no worries about this life and death situation. The 2 began their fight. Sand and pebbles started flying inside the chi barrier, snow light spread everywhere and the clash of steel resounded. Far away on a short mountain peak stood a group of Shang Clan Gu masters. Another round of battle has begun again. This Bai Ningbing is worthy of her fame in the battle stage. She is able to resist the 4 rank for middle stage Gu masters attacking her in turns, she is not simple. One of them sighed. Bai Ningbing has outstanding battle sense, she is indeed strong. But another reason is because the four old-timers from Tai clan do not dare to use all their strength. Someone analyzed. That's right. The old-timers are worried and afraid of the counterattack from Bai Ningbing when she is near death. They are good at team battle tactics, and their individual strength aren't as fearsome as the Gu masters at the same level. If they become short of a member, their whole strength will fall sharply and it will be difficult for them to contend for the Three Kings' inheritance. What I am worried about now is Bai Ningbing has Purple Thorn token. If she takes it out, do we make a move? Don't do anything for now. I have already sent the message, and the clan has already sent a strong reinforcement. Elder Yihua is rushing here. Hearing this information, Shang clan's Gu masters roused their spirits. Yihua was not an ordinary Gu master, he was one of the 5 great elders of Shang clan with a cultivation of rank for peak stage. He was one of the experts under Shang Yanfei. Now that he was dispatched, it was sure to change the situation of the entire Xianxia mountain. To think the things turned out this way. If Bai Ningbing is killed by Tai clan, our deal with Shang clan will fall through. In an underbrush, Meng Tu observed the battle inside the Qi barrier with glowing eyes and said with a worried tone. He was at the prime of his life and was at rank 3 peak stage, the same as his partner Jiao Huan. These two were famous assassins in demonic path. Some time back even the rank 4 middle stage righteous path Xiao Fu Lu died at their hands. They accepted a mission from Shang clan. If they could kill Fong and Bai, they would be allowed to join Shang clan. They had already made their move on Huatan Mountain, but the lava crocodile group they attracted did not pose any problems to Fong and Bai. The two did not give up and continued to follow Fong and Bai to Xianxia Mountain, waiting for an opportunity ever since. Sai, what can we do? We are good at assassinations and not at frontal attacks. If we move in front of everyone, our success rate will be too low. If Bai Ningbing dies, we also can't do anything about it, we can only leave it up to fate. The old man Jiao Huang said with a sigh. Yes, who knows how many are watching from the darkness? Who is to say we haven't been discovered while coming here? Meng Tu powerlessly added. They were assassin Gu masters and paid particular attention to concealment. It was okay if they did not make a move, but once they made, it must be a fatal strike. Before making their move, they went through meticulous planning and made large numbers of preparation before bursting out all at once. If the success rate was too low, they would not make a move and would rather give up the deal. This was also the reason they were able to survive while roaming in demonic path for such a long time. Every well-known Gu master had their own unique ways for survival. These 4 old-timers of Tai clan are in such an awkward state. Li Xian stood in front of the Qi barrier and looked at the battle inside, his eyes narrowed and were filled with joy towards others' misfortune. Although this place had already become a focus of many gazes at Xianxia Mountain, Li Xian did not care. He was very confident that he would absolutely not be exposed by others. This confidence came from his rank 5 Gu, Invisibility Gu. Gu worms at rank 5 were rare. Many rank 5 Gu masters would only have 1 or 2 rank 5 Gu on them for many years. Invisibility Gu could only be detected by specific rank 5 investigative Gu. However, it had not been long since Three Kings' inheritance opened and there has yet to be anyone who had broken through the middle rounds, so it was not likely to attract rank 5 Gu masters to make a move. Li Xian had his own fortuitous encounters to possess the scarce rank 5 Gu when he was rank 4. This iron cabinet Gu recipe was created by Tai clan's refinement path master Tai Yi Ban. His original intention was to refine a type of firm and secure storage Gu. After he refined this Gu for the first time, he gave it to Tai Xueling to test out. The divine investigator used it to capture people and it was very durable. When supplemented with Qi Flow Gu, its effect was amplified. From then on, Iron Cabinet Gu had become an efficient mean for Tai clan to capture demonic Gu masters. But now, these Tai clan's old-timers have to maintain both Tai Cabinet Gu and Qi Flow Gu, unable to execute their team attacks. If the four attack together, this purple Qi barrier will disappear. Without any obstruction, Bai Ningbing can run free and they will lose a lot of reputation. Interesting. These old-timers have no way out. Li Xian looked at the show, the corner of his lips could not help but curl up. But when he thought of someone, the smile on his face slowly disappeared. Little Beast King, he actually didn't come to rescue. Did he realize the truth behind this tricky situation, or is he truly so cold-blooded and decided to abandon Bai Ningbing? No matter which it is, it all proves how scary this person is. I should hand that Gu over to him. A Gu was handed over to Fong Yuan. Its appearance was like that of a bedbug, flat and wide, its head was quite small and its body looked oval-shaped. Its whole body was yellow-orange, and gave off a metallic luster like a bronze. People called it Ancient Bronze Skin Gu. Bronze Skin Gu was a series Gu from rank 1 to rank 3. But if it were to advance to rank 4, it would be Ancient Bronze Skin Gu whose defensive power was much stronger than rank 3 Bronze Skin Gu. Li Xian, you are worthy of being a famous merchant of the demonic path. You could get me Ancient Bronze Skin Gu this quick, it was really a correct decision to make the transaction with you. I don't have tea here, please have some wine. Fong Yuan's tone was polite and his face appeared gentle as he welcomed Li Xian and poured him a cup of wine. No, it was nothing. It is my honor to be able to do business with Lord Little Beast King. Li Xian appeared very modest, lowering his status. The two discussed for a while. The atmosphere was very harmonious. If someone who did not know about them saw this, they would think these two were good-natured and elegant. How would they think these two were two-faced, ruthless demonic path Gu masters? Li Xian, you don't need to be so polite, you can simply call me Fong Zheng. Let me first give you 50,000 primeval stones, consider it a deposit for our future transactions. Fong Yuan brought out Primeval Elder Gu and waved his hand, bringing out 50,000 primeval stones. Primeval Elder Gu appeared like a crystal ball, there were a lot of primeval stones stored in it, the old man in the clouds and the ball appeared to look very kind. Li Xian looked at the wide smile on the old man's face, he could not help evaluating Fong Yuan much more highly. I will have to trouble you to help me with something. Fong Yuan suddenly spoke. Li Xian's gaze flashed and immediately said, please speak. Fong Yuan brought Li Xian towards the depths of the cave and pointed to a stone vat. I have a stone vat here but I lack a fire-type Gu. I will have to ask you to help me melt these bronze pieces and put them in the stone vat. Li Xian let out a sigh of relief and smiled, I just so happen to have a fire-type Gu. It will only require a slight effort. The temperature inside the cave rapidly soared. After a while, Li Xian melted the bronze pieces into metallic liquid, the stone vat was filled almost to the brink. Fong Yuan took out coal stones and piled them under stone vat to maintain the temperature. Then, under Li Xian's astonished gaze, he softly jumped right into the vat. The boiling bronze liquid sizzled and immediately burned Fong Yuan's clothes. His whole body was soaked in the bronze liquid and only his head was revealed outside. Lord Little Beast King, what are you doing? Right now, Li Xian could smell the odor of burnt smell. Fong Yuan activated the ancient bronze skin Gu in his aperture while smiling with gritted teeth. Li Xian, don't you know? There is a method to use this ancient bronze skin Gu and accelerate the speed by 30%, that is to use it with bronze liquid. When ancient bronze skin Gu was activated, it could remodel the skin and flesh of the Gu master into ancient bronze skin. If it was used with the body soaking in bronze liquid, it could shorten the time required. Li Xian had also heard of it, but he had never thought of this. When Fang Yuan was preparing these things, he had thought these were supplementary materials for refining Gu. Because this method was extremely painful and cruel. Gu master must come in touch with scalding, boiling bronze liquid without using any defensive means. Only a perverted masochist would choose this method. Is Little Beast King a masochist? Li Xian kept on thinking of this question as he returned to his cave with a dazed expression. At this time, there was another person who was also thinking of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, why have you not appeared yet? Bai Ningbing sat cross-legged on the ground, her eyes half narrowed as she faintly felt the situation was far from reassuring. We have used poison Vao Gu, he absolutely cannot leave me in the lurch. But he still hasn't appeared now, could he still be inside the inheritance or maybe met with some trouble? Chapter 355, Yi Hua's Invitation. A Gu worm floated above Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's primeval sea slowly fell as he activated this Gu. This Gu was like a black bone, its two ends were round and smooth, with a thin body. It was emitting black rays of light while floating in the air. The black light shone upon Fang Yuan's body, passed through his skin and flesh, and brought changes in his skeleton. Fang Yuan had already used iron bone Gu, his skeleton was pitch black and was firm like iron. But under the effect of this Gu, his skeleton slowly became more firm. This was Essence Iron Bone Gu, a rank 4 Gu, one could get Iron Bone Gu by reverse refining it. 3 days after handing over the ancient bronze skin Gu, Li Xian personally came to deliver this Gu to Fang Yuan. Essence Iron Bone Gu could make Fang Yuan's skeleton even more firm and the effect was many times stronger than Iron Bone Gu. But at the same time, the process needed much more time. Fang Yuan had been using Essence Iron Bone continually these days along with ancient bronze skin Gu to temper his body. In this period, he was also using 9 Eyes Liquor Worm to purify his primeval essence, refining his initial stage light gold primeval essence into bright gold primeval essence. Then he used bright gold primeval essence to cleanse his aperture and strengthen its foundation. He made use of every minute and second, cultivating bitterly, and he could feel his strength increasing little by little every day. It has already been over a month since I left King Quan inheritance. I am almost finished with using ancient bronze skin Gu, but there is still quite a distance before I completely master Essence Iron Bone Gu. Unless I use Universe Path Gu to accelerate the flow of time. Fang Yuan pondered. The so-called Universe Path was related to time. The Gu masters of this path use time-related Gu worms. Third Watch Gu and Spring Autumn Cicada belonged to this category. In fact, there were far more Universe Path Gu than just these two. It had a full range of Gu from rank 1 to rank 5. Normal Gu masters, if they did not have the patience to do this type of grinding work and wanted to speed their progress, they could ask Universe Path Gu masters to help or use a Universe Path Gu themselves to accelerate their time. But my situation is different from ordinary Gu masters. I have Spring Autumn Cicada. If I accelerate my time, Spring Autumn Cicada's recovery speed will also increase and will be my death warrant. The time flow in Gu Immortal Blessed Land in San Cha Mountain was 3 times faster than the outside world. The time Fang Yuan spent in King Quan inheritance had already caused Spring Autumn Cicada to make some recovery, thus Fang Yuan could only patiently choose the method of bitter cultivation. Just as he was cultivating, there came an unfamiliar voice from outside the cave. Little Beast King, could you come out to have a chat? Fang Yuan walked out of the cave and saw the person clearly. He looked slightly doubtful, so it was Elder Yi Hua. Yi Hua was very handsome, sharp eyes, high-bridged nose, and long red hair like it was on fire. He was a fire path Gu master who was very famous in southern border. People called him Blazing Inferno. His cultivation was rank for peak stage. Yi Hua is one of the 5 great elders of Shang clan, an expert under Shang Yan Fei, and was ranked above light swordsman Wei Yang. The only one that could command him was Shang Yan Fei. His arrival was surely going to change the power balance of Xianxia Mountain. Fang Yuan quickly thought about it and welcomed Yi Hua inside his cave. Little Beast King, my purpose in coming here is simple, it is to invite you to join our Shang clan. Yi Hua entered the cave, but he did not sit and directly expressed his purpose in coming. Join your Shang clan. Fang Yuan raised his brows, he could fully sense the swift and decisive nature of Blazing Inferno. Right. Yi Hua nodded, his eyes looking straight at Fang Yuan as he smiled. You and Bai Ningbing have stayed for some time at Shang clan, you guys surely have deep understanding of our Shang clan strength, so I won't say much on it. The main thing is your partner Bai Ningbing has been trapped by the 4 old-timers of Tai clan for around 2 months now. As long as you two join Shang clan, I will immediately set out and rescue Bai Ningbing. His tone was filled with confidence as if rescuing Bai Ningbing was an easy matter. When he spoke, he was slightly smiling, his handsome face was like a perfect statue, and when he revealed his teeth, it was dazzling like the sun. Many people would feel ashamed when interacting with him. Yi Hua and Wei Yang had a similar background, they both ruled Shang clan battle stage and were absolute geniuses. Among the 5 great elders of Shang clan, Yi Hua was the most popular and was also publicly recognized as the elder with the highest chance of advancing to rank 5. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with a contemplative light. He was not surprised at Shang clan sending Yi Hua here. Shang clan had been in control of Xianxia Mountain for a period of time before, but was later suppressed by Wu clan. And with the appearance of demonic path experts, Shang clan groups found it even more difficult to hold their heads up. Under this situation, Shang clan as a top clan, would naturally send an expert to change the situation. In Fang Yuan's previous life memories, Yi Hua was dispatched here by Shang clan. He suppressed Wu Shentong Ni Chong, and defeated Kong Ri Tian and Long Qing Tian, being the ruler of Xianxia Mountain for a time. But later, his dominance drove Long Qing Tian anxious. Long Qing Tian used Blue Halo Gu and poisoned him. He had no choice but to return to Shang clan city to be treated by Dr. Su Shou. However, this time, Yi Hua came to Xianxia Mountain to recruit him. This was beyond Fang Yuan's expectation. Lord Yi Hua, I wonder if this invitation came from Shang clan or it is your own thought. Fang Yuan's gaze flashed, and asked. Haha, of course it is my own thought. Fang Zheng, you created a lot of commotion at Shang clan battle stage, and almost became the ruler of battle stage. I have been watching you, you are a genius. If you join Shang clan, it will be greatly beneficial to you. Yi Hua laughed loudly and replied. Fang Yuan smiled as the trace of doubt he had melted away. Sir Yi Hua, from what I know, Shang clan's external elders don't have the authority to recommend talents, right? External elder, this title made Yi Hua slightly furrow his brows. You are right. But if you can become the ruler of the battle stage, you can become an external elder of Shang clan. With your talent, I believe the title of the ruler of battle stage is just a matter of time for you. Fang Yuan could not help but scoff, and did not reply. Yi Hua's brows furrowed deeper, this scoff sounded ear-piercing to him. He patiently said, Fang Zheng, I will tell you the truth. Before I came here, Lord Clan Leader made a promise to me. As long as I accomplish great accomplishments at Xianxia Mountain and take control of the situation, I will be bestowed a surname when I return to Shang Clan City. At that time, I will no longer be Yi Hua, but Shang Hua. I will become a true elder of Shang clan and I will have the authority to recommend talents. Eh. So it was like that. Fang Yuan clearly revealed a surprised expression, his gaze flickered and he sank into contemplation. Yi Hua waited for a long time but after getting no response from Fang Yuan, his brows furrowed even deeper and he took the initiative to ask, "Have you thought it through?" Fang Yuan shook his head, "This matter is too significant, I need to consider it properly." Yi Hua's brows relaxed a little, "Since that is so, then I will give you 3 days. I will come here again after 3 days, I hope to get a satisfactory reply then." "All right." Fang Yuan nodded in agreement and accompanied Yi Hua out of the cave. 3 days later. "You still haven't thought it through?" Yi Hua looked at Fang Yuan with some doubts. "This is a serious matter, I really need to properly consider it." Fang Yuan answered with a heavy voice. "All right, I will give you 3 more days. Fang Zheng, I think highly of you." Another 3 days later. "Lord Yi Hua, I have thought over this matter over and again. I appreciate your good intent but I still prefer the freedom of the demonic path." Fang Yuan sincerely replied. "What? You thought for 3 days and this is your answer?" Yi Hua's tone showed his fury. "Lord Yi Hua, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink." Fang Yuan's gaze was profound and there was severity within his soft words. Yi Hua gritted his teeth and said with a deep voice, "Fang Zheng, you need to think it clearly. The 4 old-timers of Tai clan are not easy opponents. If I don't help out, everything bodes ill for Bai Ningbing. Besides this, Sky Tiger Xue San Si whom you killed is Century Boy's goddaughter. Century Boy has been watching you all this while, he is a Woodpath Gu master at rank 4 upper stage and is a thorny character of demonic path." Eh. So it was like that. Fang Yuan showed hesitation, then, "Let me consider it again. Give me 10 days of time to think it through." 10 days. Yi Hua immediately wrinkled his brows. "Fine." He thought for a while and nodded, "This is enough time for you to think everything through clearly. I believe you will make the most sensible choice. But I have to remind you that time cannot be dragged on further, your woman is in crisis. Anything can happen during this time." Yi Hua considered Bai Ningbing as Fang Yuan's woman, which Fang Yuan felt was quite laughable. Whether Bai Ningbing died or not, it was not an especially important matter to him. Anyway, the poison Vow Gu was already destroyed and he had also matured, reaching rank for initial stage. Saving Bai Ningbing or not, it depended on his will. But if there was no Bai Ningbing, Fang Yuan would become a lone force and it would definitely create a negative influence on his plans at Sancha Mountain. There is no need to go save Bai Ningbing urgently, I should still focus on cultivating and advance forward. I have already no need for the bone-flesh unity Gu. As for Bai Ningbing, she can be outside for a while and attract the attention for me. I should take this chance to surpass her, it will be convenient for me to suppress her in future. And with so many eyes watching the situation, those 4 old foxes of Tai clan absolutely won't move in for the kill. Fang Yuan saw the whole situation clearly. As for Yi Hua's invitation, he. 10 days later. "Lord Yi Hua, thank you for your good intention. These days, I have pondered restlessly and from every angle, but I still feel that being free is the best." Fang Yuan wore an earnest expression as he said this. Yi Hua's expression naturally became unsightly. "Fang Zheng, you have been doing this over and over again, are you playing with me?" "Lord Yi Hua, your words are not right. I have always been sincere with you. I understand your mood. But right now, the most important thing is 3 kings' inheritance. There is already not much time left before the next opening of the inheritance. With the mention of the opening of Three Kings' inheritance, Yihua could only suppress the anger in his heart. He took a deep look at Fang Yuan and left the cave. Chapter 356, The Hairy Men. 5 days later. The three light pillars appeared on Xianxia mountain, piercing through the clouds towards the sky. The red light pillar was burning like fire, it was King Bao's inheritance. Yellow light pillar was bright and dazzling, it was King Quan's inheritance. Blue light pillar had a demonic charm, it was King Xian's inheritance. After a gap of several months, Three Kings' inheritance opened again. Yihua gazed at these three light pillars at the peak, his fierce eyes under his dashing brows flickered with faint radiance. Is this Three Kings' inheritance? Sure enough, it gives off a magnificent feeling. As long as I accomplish great achievements here, I can truly join Shang clan and change my surname to Shang, becoming a member of Shang clan. Right now, excitement was surging like waves in his heart. Humph, little beast king doesn't know what's good for him, actually refusing me again and again. But, he apparently knows some secrets related to Three Kings' inheritance. If I can take him in as my subordinate, it will be a great help to me in controlling Xianxia mountain. Yihua could not help but think of Fang Yuan. Yihua was one of the 5 great elders of Shang clan and possessed his own information channel. He already knew Fang Yuan had made a huge sum of money at Shang clan city by relying on his knowledge of some secrets of Three Kings' inheritance. Besides this, Fang Yuan, himself, possessed outstanding battle prowess, having the fighting strength of a rank 4 middle stage. Moreover, Bai Ningbing never left the little beast king's side. Recruiting one naturally meant gaining the other. Thus, Yihua had accommodated to Fang Yuan and displayed complete sincerity to move him. But Fang Yuan did not know what was good for him and refused him time and again. Yihua could not help starting to feel angry. When I come out of Three Kings' inheritance, I will teach this little beast king a lesson and let him know that not everyone can fetch a good price. But, for now, I need to suppress some hindrances. Yihua collected his disorganized thoughts and looked towards the few figures at a distance. Pink Butterfly Gentleman Kong Ri Tian. He who once dyed the sky blue Long Qing Tian. Wu Clan Elder Wu Shintong. Yi Clan Elder Yi Chong. These 4 were all rank 4 peak stage experts. Every time the inheritance opened, they would be the first to move towards the entrance. This time was no exception. Ha ha ha, I have reserved King Bao inheritance. Who dares to contend with me? Yihua threw his head back and laughed loudly, his laughter wild and unrestrained. He crossed his arms and looked at the 4 with a fierce gaze. He was Fire Path Gu Master, King Bao was also of the same path. King Bao's inheritance was naturally the best choice for him. Blazing Inferno. Wu Shintong narrowed his eyes and mumbled with some fear towards Yihua's reputation. Yihua was one of the 5 great generals of Shang clan with the nickname of Blazing Inferno, he was at the peak of power. Even Wu Shintong had no choice but to admit that Yihua was a notch above him. Humph, I will deal with you. Kong Ri Tian snorted, his whole body suddenly exploded and turned into phoenix-winged golden butterflies. Hundreds and thousands of golden butterflies, with wings as sharp as knives, enveloped Yihua. Blazing Inferno, you have been in the limelight the last few years. Long Qing Tian also laughed gloomily and pushed his palm. Whoosh! A greenish-blue palm of light, with poison gas curling around it, broke the void and directly smacked towards Yihua's face. Let me spar too. Yi Chong sneered and suddenly moved. Swish! Blue water waves surged up out of nowhere, engulfing Yihua within. All of a sudden, 3 rank 4 peak stage Gu masters attacked Yihua at the same time. Good. Yihua's lips curled up into an arrogant smile, he stretched his arms then smacked his chest with his palms. Bam! Majestic flames suddenly burst forth. In an instant, the fiery color overwhelmed the light pillars of three kings' inheritance and illuminated Xianxia mountain. Flames surged up with incomparable heat and ferocity. The flames effortlessly covered the water wave, burned the poison palm and sent the phoenix-winged golden butterflies retreating in a sorry figure. The golden butterflies flew far away and converged, changing back into Kong Ri Tian. This is his rank 5 Gu Prairie Fire. Seeing such a huge fire, Chong and Long Qing Tian's expressions changed. Kong Ri Tian did not say a word, while Wu Shentong's eyes flashed. This is the might of Elder Yihua. Shang Clan Gu masters shouted out loudly in excitement. Yihua stood proudly within the flames, giving a feeling of a deity. His fiery red hair seemed to merge with the flames, giving off a wild and intense bearing. The flames swiftly dispersed and he walked towards the red light pillar, King Bao inheritance. The four Gu masters watched him move towards the light pillar, all of their expressions were more or less stiff and unsightly, but they did not block him. This was them acknowledging Yihua's might. After Yihua entered King Bao inheritance, Kong Ri Tian and other three glanced at each other, but they had no more interest to fight. Among them, Kong Ri Tian and Long Qing Tian entered King Xian inheritance, Wu Shentong Ni Chong entered King Quan inheritance. Yihua is worthy of being one of the 5 great experts of Shang clan, he has rank 5 Gu Prairie Fire, formidable indeed. These days, Yihua has been repeatedly going to Little Beast King's place, their relation is not shallow. Humph. Black and white twin demons are known as demonic path Gu masters, but they are actually lackeys of righteous path. They spent some time at Shang clan and everyone knows they have a deep relation with Shang clan's young master Shang Xianxia. A group of rank 4 upper stage Gu masters started discussing after they saw Yihua suppressing other 4 Gu masters and enter the light pillar with his head high. Birds of a feather flocked together. Rank 4 peak stage experts had all entered the inheritance, now it was these people's turn. Century Boy, your goddaughter Xue Sanxi was killed by Little Beast King. When are you going to take revenge? A righteous Gu master among the group suddenly asked while taking gloating at his misfortune. Century Boy coldly snorted, although Yihua has rank 5 Gu, the battle just before was only a probe, no one used their true methods. If they were to truly fight it out, who lives and who dies is still not certain. Although he said so, he was actually very afraid. He had thought of taking the chance that Bai Ningbing was imprisoned, to find trouble for Fang Yuan. But Yihua repeatedly visited Fang Yuan's residence, so he could only restrain his impulse and quietly observe. Now, when he saw Yihua easily suppressing other 4, Century Boy's heart became much more heavy. Such a great opportunity like 3 kings' inheritance is in front of us, who will foolishly battle each other to death. Let's go, we need to enter too. Soon, this group of rank 4 upper stage Gu masters also entered the inheritance. Fang Yuan climbed up to the peak and was immediately recognized. Little Beast King. It is Fang Zheng. He is entering King Xian inheritance. From the peak to the middle of mountain, many Gu masters stared as they looked at Fang Yuan entering into the light pillar. He really forgot about his partner. BNB is still trapped by the 4 old fellows of Tai clan. This Fang Zheng is actually paying it no heed as if nothing has happened, like he hasn't heard of it. Even demonic Gu masters felt a chill in their hearts. Look, this is the heartlessness of demonic path Gu masters. Some righteous path Gu masters commented disdainfully. Fang Yuan, you bastard. Bai Ningbing also witnessed this scene from inside the Qi barrier. Her face became pale with anger, she clenched her fists tightly and fiercely gritted her teeth. The four old-timers of Tai clan looked at each other. They were in an embarrassing situation right now. Although they succeeded in trapping Bai Ningbing, Fang Yuan did not come to rescue her. This made their defensive tactics a cold irony. Damn it! We can't deal with so many matters. This time, there will be no share for us at Three Kings' inheritance. How about we retreat? Impossible. We four move together. If we retreat without gaining anything, this will be an insult to our Tai clan, and I am afraid we will not be able to raise our heads in front of others. Then what should we do? Three pairs of eyes looked at the fourth old man, their leader. The old man pondered for a while and made a decision. He spoke with a heavy voice, request for reinforcements. Shang clan has sent reinforcement, there will naturally be support from our Tai clan too. In the present situation, the competition has turned more intense. Only rank 4 peak stage powers can fight for a seat. As long as the clan sends a rank 4 peak stage reinforcement, then with our rank 4 middle stage strength. Big brother is right. Shang clan has sent Yihua. If we ask for reinforcement now, we won't lose face. Right, we need to ask support from the clan. There was endless grey fog completely filling Fang Yuan's vision and reminding him that he had already entered King Xian inheritance. Fang Yuan surveyed his surroundings, he could not tell east from west. However, in his aperture, spring-autumn cicada shook its wings slightly. The flow of time here was still 3 times faster than the outside world. I need to hurry. Fang Yuan felt a sense of urgency. The constantly recovering spring-autumn cicada was becoming more and more like a ticking time bomb. He grabbed a paper crane Gu and activated it. A key was required to enter King Xian inheritance, and it was a paper crane Gu. At this very moment, Fang Yuan could only use paper crane Gu, his other Gu besides spring-autumn cicada, were all suppressed by the heavenly power. Paper crane Gu floated in the air in front of him, it flapped its wings and led the way ahead. Fang Yuan followed the paper crane and slowly moved forward. He reached a hill and could see a blurry human figure in the fog. Human, come out, compete, let's compete. The human figure opened its mouth, the sound was boorish and sporadic. When Fang Yuan walked closer, the human figure gradually became clearer. His figure was similar to ordinary humans, 2 hands and 2 legs. It was just that he was very buff, and reddish-brown hair grew from all over his body, chest, limbs, even on his face and buttocks. He looked at Fang Yuan with his bronze bell-like large eyes. Compete, let's compete. Lose, die. He roared, his eyes were filled with blood veins and looked very malevolent. Fang Yuan had already expected this and was not surprised, his expression calm. This was a mutated human. Beasts had mutated beasts, just like Biao among the tigers, Lican among wolves and Mastiff among dogs. Humans also had mutated humans. The mutated human Fang Yuan ran into now was a hairy man. Hairy man's whole body were covered with hair, even their eyelids. This type of mutated human has extremely low intelligence but had natural talent in Gu refinement. There was a group of hairy men in King Xian inheritance, they were the obstacles Gu masters had to clear to go forward. Only by winning against them could the Gu masters continue on. If they lost, the Gu masters would be torn to shreds by the powerful hairy men and become their food. Come. Fang Yuan stood at a distance of 10 steps from the hairy man with a tranquil expression. Several Gu along with some materials appeared out of nowhere in the air and floated lightly to Fang Yuan's hands. At the same time, the hairy man also received the same things. The Gu refinement had begun. Winner lives, loser dies. Chapter 357, Legend of the Hairy Men. The earliest record of hairy men was in It was said that Renzu dug out his two eyes which turned into a son and a daughter. The son was Verdant Great Sun and the daughter was Desolate Ancient Moon. Verdant Great Sun liked to drink wine a lot. One time he caused an incident while being drunk and was trapped at the depths of the ordinary abyss. In the end, he profited from the disaster and obtained Reputation Gu which looked like chrysanthemum, and was able to escape alive. Because of Reputation Gu, Verdant Great Sun's reputation gradually became bigger. Soon, news that Verdant Great Sun was a huge drunkard spread all over the world. One day, a group of tiger-striped honey bees brought their beehive and found Verdant Great Sun. Verdant Great Sun, we heard you really liked drinking wine and you have been saying the wine made by the 4 heaven and earth monkeys are the most delicious in the world. But how could the wine they brewed compare to our honey wine? Today, we have specially brought our honey for you to have a taste. Each of these honey bees was the size of a leopard with patterns on their body resembling tiger stripes, golden with black stripes on top. They were speaking politely but their tone contained a threatening and forceful intent. Verdant Great Sun complained in his heart, this was truly misfortune befalling on someone who merely stayed home. Tiger-striped honey bees were very powerful, he was not a match against one of them, let alone a whole group. Verdant Great Sun could only reluctantly taste the honey wine inside the beehive. He had only taken a sip when his eyes brightened. Honey wine was sweet but not overly sweet, the wine fragrance was mellow and very delicious, absolutely a treasure of the world. Delicious, delicious, really delicious. This honey wine makes one feel like the most fortunate person in the world. Verdant Great Sun drank a mouthful of wine, praising it to the high heavens. Tiger-striped honey bees laughed, feeling very happy. The leader asked Verdant Great Sun, tell us which tastes more delicious, our honey wine or the wines of the 4 heaven and earth monkeys. Verdant Great Sun was already drunk and forgot about the terror of the tiger-striped honey bees. Speaking frankly, they all have their own merits, it is very difficult to compare them. Tiger-striped honey bees were furious, he said our wine is actually at the same level as those mere monkeys. This Verdant Great Sun is too hateful, we need to teach him a lesson. They were just about to attack when suddenly Verdant Great Sun disappeared. This intoxication of Verdant Great Sun lasted for 7 days and 7 nights. In his haziness, he heard a voice calling out for him from the darkness, Verdant Great Sun, wake up quick. If you don't wake up, you will be eaten. Verdant Great Sun was startled awake. He discovered he was bound up and was being carried by a group of savage people. This group of savage people had hair all over their body and their 2 eyes were dark blue. There was already a bonfire burning and above the bonfire was a cauldron. The savage people quietly sat down, speaking pleasant-sounding words. We are refining eternal Gu and we're just lacking a human to be the catalyst. Now heaven has sent us Verdant Great Sun, it is truly worthy of celebration. Human is the spirit of all living beings, Renzu is the spirit ancestor. Verdant Great Sun was born from his left eye and has ample spiritual energy. The way I see it, the refinement will succeed this time. Throw him into the cauldron quick, we will obtain eternal Gu and live for eternity. Verdant Great Sun turned pale from fright at these words, immediately shouting out and struggling with all his strength. However, these savage people remained unmoved. At this very moment, Verdant Great Sun again heard the voice from before in his mind. Sigh, it is no use. These savages are the hairy men, loved by the world. They have an innate talent in refining Gu worms. Verdant Great Sun instantly forgot his predicament and curiously asked in his mind, who are you? That voice laughed, I am Divine Travel Gu, as long as any person drinks 4 different top-tier wines in the world, they will give birth to me in their hearts. I can let you teleport to any place you wish. Verdant Great Sun was exulted, then, please quickly bring me out of here. Divine Travel Gu sighed, it is no use. You can only use me when you are drunk. Your mind is sober now and so you can't use me. Verdant Great Sun suddenly realized, so that is why I was trapped in the isolated island and almost starved to death that time. Fortunately, I obtained reputation Gu and could leave the ordinary abyss. So it was you who harmed me. Divine Travel Gu replied, sigh, human, I did not have any intent to harm you, it was all because you used my strength after you became drunk. You don't need to blame me, last time you were almost captured by the tiger-striped honey bees, but you were able to escape thanks to me. One harm and one rescue, we can call it even. Verdant Great Sun also thought of the tiger-striped honey bees and no longer blamed Divine Travel Gu. He was thrown into the cauldron by the hairy men. The huge fire was burning hotter under the cauldron and the liquid temperature inside also soared. Add agates and red pepper. A hairy man threw precious agates and red pepper into the cauldron. The liquid inside the cauldron immediately changed to red and dyed Verdant Great Sun's body red. Add blue smoke fox child. A hairy man grabbed a small fox and threw it into the cauldron. The small fox's whole body was hairy and looked extremely cute with its eyes like black diamonds. But the moment it touched the liquid, it turned into blue smoke and blended into the water. The liquid in the cauldron slowly boiled and Verdant Great Sun also felt more despair, feeling it would be difficult to escape the disaster this time. Hairy men continued to add in many supplementary materials and goo worms. Add vanity goo. A hairy man threw a goo into the cauldron. This goo was strange and looked like a huge blue crab. But different from real crabs, its crab shell was hollow. The moment it saw Verdant Great Sun, the huge crab like vanity goo was very excited. You are Verdant Great Sun. I have heard about you, but had never expected I would meet you here, it is really my good fortune. I am too happy, too excited. Verdant Great Sun gave a bitter smile, how can it be good fortune when we are about to die? I don't care about death. I only wanted to ask, how did you become so famous? I really admire you. I have the utmost admiration for people like you. Vanity Gu asked with urgency. I am not in the mood to talk about this now, I need to escape. Verdant Great Sun struggled in the cauldron and tried to climb up, but was quickly pressed down into the cauldron by a watching hairy man. Quick, tell me quick. Vanity Gu was not tactful and wholeheartedly wanted to ask for guidance. Verdant Great Sun furiously rebuked, can't you see the situation we are in now? Vanity Gu opened its eyes wide and started at Verdant Great Sun before it beamed with pleasure, I understand now. If I want to be popular, I need to endure the heat. Thank you for the guidance, thank you. Verdant Great Sun, as thanks, I will do a favor for you. Saying so, the Vanity Gu exploded. This explosion was not intense and was very light, only giving off a soft bang sound. The Vanity Gu turned into a formless poisonous wind and attacked the hearts of all the hairy men. The crystal clear dark blue eyes of the hairy men turned red. Verdant Great Sun was dazed for a good while, before coming back to his senses. He could not help sighing at Vanity Gu's sacrifice, and immediately shouted, although you hairy men can refine goo, but it is nothing. Even if you all live for eternity, so what? You are so ugly with hair all over your body, you are simply an abomination. The hairy men were stupefied. If it was before, they would not care about Verdant Great Sun. But now, the poison of vanity had spread in the depths of their hearts, shrouding their intelligence. Hearing Verdant Great Sun's shouts, the hairy men started refuting loudly, nonsense, nonsense. We hairy men are the most perfect, there can be nothing more beautiful than hair all over the body. Verdant Great Sun was suddenly hit by an inspiration, no matter how beautiful your hair is, could it be as beautiful as my hair? Because he had drank Vajra monkey's strong wine, his hair had become blazing fire. The hairy men were baffled at his words. The beautiful fire was flickering and changing all the time. Even they could not help but admit the movement of Verdant Great Sun's hair was beautiful. Verdant Great Sun continued to stimulate them, even if you obtain eternity, you won't be as beautiful as me. Look at my hair, it is as colorful and charismatic as fire. The hairy men were spurred on by Verdant Great Sun, and finally someone could not endure it. You have such amazing hair, I will have it too. Look at mine. He then used a fire torch to ignite his whole body. The hair on his body burned and he became a fiery man. Ha ha ha, you only have beautiful hair, but my whole body is beautiful now. This hairy man shouted. Soon, the other hairy men also rushed to do the same. All of them became fiery men, the fire burned them and the intense pain caused them to howl in pain. But when they realized this, it was too late for them to extinguish the fire, and bombastically displayed their beauty. Divine Travel Gu was overjoyed and praised Verdant Great Sun endlessly. Human, you are really clever, actually thinking of this method. Verdant Great Sun escaped out of the cauldron and succeeded in surviving. He replied in his mind with a cold smile, it is not me who is clever. It is the vanity in people that have turned them stupid. They often silently endure pain for false beauty, giving up the goals they should truly pursue. Grand White Moon Gold, Skull Stones, Dragon-Side Tooth, Young Autumn Grass along with 50 primeval stones, a Flower Boar Gu and a Boar Cage Gu. This was handed to Fang Yuan as the materials for Gu refinement. In front of him, the hairy man was already sitting cross-legged on the ground and refining Gu. Although Fang Yuan was not a refinement path Gu master, he had ventured into the refinement path in his previous life and knew many recipes. Right now, he had 3 choices, every choice would refine a new Gu. The inheritance did not mention which Gu he had to refine, this meant the Gu he refined needed to be better than the hairy man. Fang Yuan looked at the process of the hairy man refining Gu and could already guess what he was going to refine. He sneered inwardly, but on his face appeared a respectful and flattering smile. Lord Hairy Man, you are really amazing. The method of your Gu refinement really makes this one sigh in amazement. You are a Gu refinement grandmaster, there is no Gu in this world which you can't refine. Ah! Ha! You, tactful. The hairy man laughed loudly, clearly happy. This distraction immediately caused the Gu refinement to fail. The hairy man's expression suddenly changed and shouted in fear, no. But it was already late. Heavenly power descended as lightning and struck the hairy man into ashes. Hee hee. Fang Yuan indifferently laughed and collected the materials in his hand. Under the paper crane Gu's lead, he slowly walked towards the next round. Chapter 358, New Trump Card. Light dispersed and a Gu slowly landed onto Fang Yuan's palm. This was Water Cage Gu, which was used especially to capture wild Gu worms and was very effective. The hairy man in front was in the process of refining Gu. When he saw Fang Yuan was already done, he immediately let out a desperate howl. Thunder crackled in the sky and the hairy man was killed. Similar to King Quan inheritance, King Xian inheritance was also extremely cruel. Gu masters had to tread through blood and death to move a step forward. Fang Yuan sighed and stored the Water Cage Gu before continuing forward. If he remembered correctly, this was already the 32nd round in King Xian inheritance. King Xian inheritance was an inheritance related to refinement path. The difficulty increased every 10 rounds and the hairy men that appeared also became smarter and stronger. In the early 20 or so rounds, Fang Yuan was able to rely on his speech to flatter the hairy men and disrupt their concentration, causing their Gu refinement to fail and give him effortless victories. But starting from 30th round, the hairy men that appeared were huge and had remarkable intelligence. Fang Yuan could only compete fairly. But fortunately, the Gu refinement materials of the first 20 rounds were accumulated by Fang Yuan and gave him ample options in refining Gu. These Gu refinement materials could be saved by the Gu masters and used for future rounds. This was also a trick King Xian had left behind when she set up his inheritance. In Fang Yuan's previous life, this trick was made public only after a year. Right now, it was a secret. Even if some people realized this trick, the number was only a small fraction of the participants. Fang Yuan was able to rush forward like this because of his plentiful accumulation and his previous life's experiences. His achievement here were even better than at King Quan inheritance. From 40th round, the difficulty of King Xian inheritance increased by several folds. At this stage, Gu masters could use one of their Gu. But in King Xian inheritance, the Gu they use must be of refinement path. Fang Yuan did not have any refinement path Gu, the materials on him were also almost used up. He began to feel the difficulty of advancing forward. It was become very difficult to cross each round. What was good was that after 40th round, King Xian inheritance gave the Gu masters a corresponding reward. These rewards could be refinement path Gu worms, recipes, primeval stones and so on, and were very generous. When Fang Yuan broke through to 44th round, he was given an opportunity to leave. He took this opportunity and left King Xian inheritance. The time he spent this time in King Xian inheritance was even longer than in King Quan inheritance. Returning to Xianxia Mountain, Fang Yuan found Tai Clan's purple light barrier was still standing tall. Tai clans for old-timers were very patient and did not enter Three Kings' inheritance. Bai Ningbing was still trapped. The three light pillars on the mountain peaks had already shrunk down to a cup-sized thickness. But as long as the light pillars existed, even if it was only the thickness of a tiny needle, it meant the doors had not closed and people could still enter. But every time the inheritance opened up, no matter which inheritance of Three Kings' inheritance Gu masters chose, they could only enter one time. Fang Yuan looked for Li Xian and made another transaction again. Li Xian received many things from Fang Yuan and was inwardly startled. I have a bad news for you. Tai clans for old-timers have already requested for support from their clan. Tai clan has already sent a group of reinforcements over and it might be unfavorable for Sir. Fang Yuan was not surprised. This action of Tai clans for old-timers was also within his expectations. Who did they send as reinforcements? The head is Tai clan's Tai Ba Xiu. He is a strength path Gu master with rank 4 upper stage cultivation. Besides him, there is also Tai Ruanan. She is one of the 8 young masters of Tai clan and is a rising star who has been in limelight these 2 years. Every one of Tai clan's 8 young masters are dragons and phoenixes. Especially this Tai Ruanan, she is the daughter of divine investigator Tai Shueleng and already has rank 4 initial stage cultivation at such a young age. Li Xian placed emphasis on Tai Ruanan in this batch of reinforcements, and only gave small snippets of information regarding Tai Ba Xiu and others. Tai Ba Xiu was already a famous character and everyone knew of him. But Tai Ruanan was a rising star and could only be said to have some reputation and had yet to be famous around southern border. Li Xian, however, did not know Fang Yuan was familiar with Tai Ruanan. Sure enough, she advanced to rank 4. Tai Ba Xiu, Tai clan indeed sent this group just like in my previous life. Fang Yuan pondered in his mind. Li Xian had been observing Fang Yuan's expression the whole time, but seeing him remain calm, he was increasingly feeling more afraid. Lord Little Beast King, when this batch of Tai clansmen arrives, Tai clan's 4 old-timers will be free to deal with by Ning Bing. There is still time if you make a move now. Li Xian persuaded, with sincerity showing all over his face. I will have to ask you to pay more attention to our future deals. Fang Yuan smiled and left the cave. The moment Fang Yuan left, Li Xian's expression turned grave. His small eyes flashed with sharp light. I have been fanning the flames to this extent, but this little beast king remains unmoved. Is he really not worried about his partner's safety? Could it be the relation between Bai Ningbing and him is not as close as the rumors say? He is a man and Bai Ningbing is so beautiful, he will definitely go rescue her. It seems I need to contact Hu Mei Er. Riling up people's emotions had become basic nature to him. He watched others fight and fished in troubled water, obtaining huge benefits. Is this true? Hu Mei Er's eyes brightened with high spirits when she got the news from Li Xian. Why would I deceive my darling? Li Xian smiled while caressing Hu Mei Er's waist. Hu Mei Er smiled tenderly and threw herself into Li Xian's chest, acting coquettishly. It is still big brother Li Xian who loves me the most. A round pearl quietly rested on Fang Yuan's palm. It was golden all over and was only the size of a thumb. In the dusky cave, the pearl let out faint golden luster. This was a yellow gold relic Gu, rank 4 Gu. This Gu's market supply was strictly controlled by all great clans. Even Li Xian could not get it. It was all because this Gu could directly raise a rank 4 Gu master's cultivation by a small realm. Rank 4 and rank 5 were already the higher-ups of a clan. A yellow gold relic Gu could change the power structure of the higher-ups. I was quite lucky this time, actually receiving a yellow gold relic Gu as reward in King Xian inheritance. Fang Yuan sighed before activating this Gu with a thought. Yellow gold relic Gu immediately turned into golden ray of light and entered Fang Yuan's aperture. The 90% primeval sea in Fang Yuan's aperture surged and ebbed. In the center, spring-autumn cicada appeared and disappeared at times. When yellow gold relic Gu entered the aperture, it was firmly suppressed by the indistinct aura of spring-autumn cicada. Fang Yuan could only make spring-autumn cicada conceal itself, then use yellow gold relic Gu. A ball of golden light immediately spread and covered the whole aperture. Bright golden primeval essence converged together, cleansing the aperture walls. A night passed, and when the light of clear dawn shone upon Xianxia Mountain, Fang Yuan slowly opened his eyes. Rank 4 middle stage. If he used 9 Eyes Liquor Worm, he would possess rank 4 upper stage essence gold primeval essence. This moment, he had officially surpassed by Ning Bing in cultivation. At the same time, the stable aperture walls could bear even more of spring-autumn cicada's pressure now, somewhat delaying this death warrant. Next, it is refining Gu. Fang Yuan did not urgently use liquor worm, but instead took out a Gu. This Gu was a ball of bone the size of a quail egg. On the surface, there were alternating black and white stripes like on a zebra. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing had once used this to soar to the skies. This was the footless bird. Although it was only at rank 3, it could move 10,000 miles and was the #1 mount under rank 5. But it had a great weakness: it could only fly once. The moment it landed, it was the moment of its death. This footless bird Gu was also obtained from King Xian inheritance as a reward for Fang Yuan. 9 palace flowers, aspiring stone, golden crow's essence, chilling grass. Fang Yuan threw all these materials into the footless bird Gu and also constantly threw in primeval stones. Most of these Gu refinement materials were materials Fang Yuan had remaining from King Xian inheritance, while a portion was bought from Li Xian. He used up a total of 180,000 primeval stones before the Gu refinement finished. Bone Wings Gu. It was a rank 4 Gu. It looked like a feather, was spotless white, had bony texture and was light as a feather. Under Fang Yuan's will, this Gu flew towards his back and spread, forming into something resembling 2 pairs of folded wings that covered almost all of Fang Yuan's back. He poured primeval essence into the Bone Wings Gu. Suddenly, intense pain attacked him as countless bones grew out from his backbone and ribs. The bony outgrowth pierced through his flesh and grew out before converging together and forming 2 enormous bone wings. These bone wings were like the wings on a bird, wide and long. When folded up, the tail of the wings could touch the ground. The current Fang Yuan was truly an 8-foot-tall man. Whoosh! There was a soft sound as the bone wings stretched out. The cave did not look so spacious anymore. Normal bone wings were spotless white. But the bone wings on Fang Yuan was not only pitch black, but also let out a metallic luster like that of steel and iron. This was because Fang Yuan's skeleton surpassed ordinary, having been reformed by Iron Bone Gu, and at the same time, he had constantly been using rank 4 essence Iron Bone recently. This led to Fang Yuan's bone wings to far surpass other people's in terms of sturdiness. Rather than to say they were only bone wings, it was better to say they were iron bone wings. Fang Yuan softly flapped the wings. There was only a blowing sound before a strong whirlwind blew up. Bone wings could be used as he wished and was like a natural part of his body. Fang Yuan nodded in satisfaction. Ordinary Gu masters were rather cautious in using Bone Wings Gu. They would often train for 2 to 3 years before they were able to fly. If it were to be used in battle, they would have to train even longer, at least 5 years and above. After all, humans were creatures who walked on the ground and not flying creatures. However, Fang Yuan had no such problem. After 500 years in his previous life, he had similarly gained plentiful experiences in terms of flying. One could well imagine, if he suddenly used them, it was sure to catch his enemies off guard. His newly advanced cultivation Bone Wings Gu became the new trump cards of Fang Yuan. Now, it is time to deal with Bai Ningbing's matter. Fang Yuan kept the bone wings, a chilling light flashing past his eyes. Chapter 359, Obstruction. A group of 7 people silently moved through a forest. We have been hurrying on our way without resting all these days and are already very close to Xianxia Mountain. Tai Ba Xiu thought while rushing through the forest, stepping across stones and tree roots. He was tall and had a buff physique. On his square face was a steady expression which gave a feeling of reliability. His cultivation was rank 4 upper stage and his fame had spread throughout southern border. When he was young, he was spurned by the clan, pushed aside and forced to drift outside. Then he encountered a righteous Gu master inheritance and changed to strength path, making his name renowned in the world. Now, he was a famous character of the righteous path. With rank 5 Gu, Earth Overlord, he was called Present Age Overlord and had battle strength that surpassed ordinary rank for peak stage. At present, there are 5 rank 4 peak stage Gu masters on Xianxia Mountain: Long Qing Tian, Chong, Kong Ri Tian, Wushan Tong Yihua. Among them, Yihua's battle prowess is very high and will be the strongest opponent. In addition to this, there will be more and more formidable characters who will join this struggle. It is just that I do not know what Tai Ruanan has planned. Thinking of this, Tai Ba Xiu could not help turning his gaze towards Tai Ruanan who was running beside him. Although he had impressive battle prowess, in the group that was sent over this time by the clan, he was not the head. Rather, it was a young junior, Tai Ruanan. After Tai Ruanan returned to the clan, she cultivated hard and displayed extremely strong aptitude and talent. Now, she was already one of the Tai clan's 8 young masters. She was meticulous, sensitive to the smallest details and was already being called Little Divine Investigator. She was the strongest rising star that emerged in Tai clan these years. She was gradually soaring up and was being watched by many. This time, when the 4 old-timers requested for reinforcements, the clan made an exception and appointed Tai Ruanan as the leader of this group. Even Tai Ba Xiu, this famous senior, had to obey her orders. This showed how much the Tai clan higher-ups expected from her. Tai Ba Xiu only took a glance before retracting his gaze. He was not in the least bit concerned about the clan's arrangement and was also not jealous. Tai Ba Xiu was very loyal to the clan. For the clan's future hope, he was willing to be an assistant, willing to become a stepping stone. In fact, when he was down and out, he had received divine investigator Tai Xueling's help. Tai Ba Xiu had always felt grateful towards him, and with the interaction over these days, he sensed Tai Ruanan's brilliance. As expected of divine investigator's daughter. Big brother Xueling, you have a worthy successor, you can rest assured in the afterlife. Tai Ba Xiu was gratified. He was very satisfied with Tai Ruanan. Not only did he admire her cultivation talents, he admired her leadership capability even more. Outstanding young Gu masters had gathered around Tai Ruanan. Not mentioning anything else, one just needed to look at the current group of people. Tai Mu, rank 3 peak stage Gu master, looked gentlemanly and was brimming with talent. He had received many invitations, but he chose to join Tai Ruanan. Tai Ao Kai, rank 3 upper stage, he might look dazed and sleepy, but in the field of investigative ability, he had true prowess. There was also Tai Dao Ku, an offense Gu master with outstanding battle prowess. He had once served another young master but was now recruited by Tai Ruanan. Tai Xianxia, one of the beauties in the clan, young and beautiful. Even clan elders praised her defensive abilities. These talents gathered under Tai Ruanan and would become her crew. Tai Ba Xiu seemed to see the radiant scene where this crew endlessly grew and assisted Tai Ruanan in ascending to the position of clan leader. Each one of the 8 young masters of Tai clan had a chance to contend for clan leader's position. As they ran quickly, lights and shadows fluctuated in their vision and green light shone on Tai Ruanan's face. Her slender legs revealed her youthful beauty as she ran through the forest. Having gained much experiences these years, Tai Ruanan had clearly matured. Her brows were sharp as sword and her eyes shone like the stars. When one looked at her from the side, one could feel her power. Her thick eyelashes shaded the resolute light in her eyes. Xianxia Mountain. She recited this name in her mind. She had already received news about Xianxia Mountain. And she was even aware that Xianxia Mountain had become a place of unstable changes, a struggling whirlpool that swallowed lives, engulfing countless people of both demonic and righteous paths. Originally, Tai Ruanan had not thought of participating. But an unexpected information made her realize there were hidden details regarding Qing Mao Mountain back then. Her father Tai Xueling lost his life at Qing Mao Mountain, a hero of a generation had fallen. Anything that concerned her father, she had to check it out. Thus, she personally accepted the order and hurried to Xianxia Mountain. By Ning Bing. Fong Zheng, The Truth About Qing Mao Mountain, I Will Get to the Bottom of It. The group moved forward. The group of 7 moved in standard battle formation. The investigative Gu master Tai Ao Kai was at front, Tai Ruanan and Tai Ba Xiu was at middle. Healing Gu master was at the rear with defensive Gu master Tai Xian Hua beside him. No matter what the terrain was, the battle formation showed no signs of disorder. No matter what happened, this group responded to it at the first sight and was not caught unprepared. Who is it? Suddenly, Tai Ao Kai who was at the front stopped and shouted, alerting the group. Something happened. The whole group swiftly came to a stop, the formation changed slightly to form into the best battle array, it was both closely linked and was also faintly loose to leave a way for retreat. They could attack if they progressed, and defend if they retreated. A person who crossed his arms and was standing on a boulder, glanced down at this group of people. He was tall, with strong back and narrow waist, although he was not exaggeratedly muscular, he still gave a feeling of sturdiness. He was wearing tight-fitting black clothes, he was standing there alone but it felt like a mountain was standing. Especially, his black pupils, they were dark as abyss and gave an unfathomable feeling. Fong Zheng. Tai Ruanan's pupils shrunk when she saw this person and blurted out. This person was indeed Fong Yuan. Tai Ruanan, we meet again. The corner of Fong Yuan's lips curled up into a smile, a grim intent was revealed from his expression. Little Beast King. Tai Ba Xiu's eyes narrowed and a severe light flashed past them. The other 5 people of the group were behaving like they were facing a great enemy. They were very well equipped with intel and knew the person in front of them, a rising star of the demonic path with outstanding battle prowess, his actions were wild and unrestrained, an extremely dangerous character. Fong Zheng, I trust you have been since we last met. Tai Ruanan revealed a complicated expression on her face and continued after a sigh, Fong Zheng, you came to compromise. Actually, there is nothing to it. I know the struggles of 3 kings' inheritance, you either live or die, there are no ways for retreat. Bai Ningbing ran into my Tai clan's Gu master and killed him in as a last-ditch move. I have friendly relations with you both, how about this, come to Tai clan as a guest, explain the matter clearly and redeem this sin by doing some assignments for Tai clan. I can plead for leniency for you and Tai clan won't pursue this matter anymore. When she was speaking, Tai Ao Kai nervously activated his Gu to secretly scan his surroundings. It was truly strange Fong Yuan appeared alone. Maybe there were others lying in ambush. Fong Yuan could not help but sneer at Tai Ruanan's words, sin. She only killed a person, what sin is there? The only slight difference is this person has a somewhat tougher background, that's all. Tai Ruanan, I didn't think you were so childish. Thinking of luring me into going to Tai clan, and capture me there. When I enter Tai clan, I will be a dragon swimming in shallow water, a tiger moving in plain sight, wouldn't I be completely at your mercy then? Tai Ruanan deeply furrowed her brows, Fong Zheng, you have changed a lot over these years. You feel no guilt over killing a person? Anyway, I am not telling lies. I pledge on my honor that I will guarantee your safety and guarantee you will be given fair trial. Fong Yuan scoffed, is your Tai clan considered safe? At the moment, divine thief Lu Zuan Feng has been causing havoc at Tai clan, even infiltrating demon suppression tower. Your Tai clan can't even help yourselves, can you guarantee my safety? Laughable, truly laughable. What? The clan has kept the news regarding divine thief Lu Zuan Feng confidential. He is an outsider and has also been staying far away here at San Cha Mountain, how could he be so clear of the matter? The 7 people of Tai clan turned pale. Divine thief Lu Zuan Feng was a rank 5 expert, the matter of him infiltrating Demon Suppression Tower had already caused a lot of disturbance in Tai clan's higher-ups. Tai clan had always viewed itself as the holy land of the righteous path. Its Demon Suppression Tower was even a renowned prison for the demonic path, but Lu Xuanfeng entered and left it as he pleased. This level of humiliation and disgrace was tightly guarded and kept a secret by Tai clan. Even top clans like Wu clan and Shang clan had no knowledge of it. However, this little beast king unexpectedly knew it. Do you really believe such nonsense? Tai Ba Xiu could not help but refuse it as it concerned the reputation of Tai clan. Leader, there are no one in the surroundings, he is alone. At this time, Tai Ao Kai reported in a soft voice. A bright light immediately flashed through Tai Ruanan's mind and she fixed her gaze at Fang Yuan. Fang Zheng, I understand your intent. You want to use this information to blackmail us in exchange for Bai Ningbing's life. We can do that. But we need to know how you came to know about this secret. Otherwise, we will absolutely not let her go. Fang Yuan threw his head back and laughed loudly. Tai Ruanan, you are truly naive. I just spoke those words casually. You still don't understand the purpose of me coming here. Don't you know there is a battle tactic called besiege an enemy stronghold in order to strike at the reinforcements? What, you want to go against us? Tai Ruanan's pupils slightly widened, revealing an inconceivable expression. The others also looked at Fang Yuan as if they were looking at an idiot. We are a group of 7 while you are just by yourself. We have rank 4 upper stage senior Tai Ba Xiu, rank 4 initial stage Tai Ruanan, and 5 rank 3 Gu masters, each of them an expert. Just you alone wants to go against us. Has this little beast king lost his mind? Is there a problem with his brain? For a moment, everyone had this thought. Fang Yuan knew their thoughts as he looked at the change in their expression and eyes. He did not feel like refuting them. With a cold smile, he suddenly pounced towards the group from high above like a northern goshawk. He really attacked. Looking for death. The 7 people were both startled and furious. No, this aura, how could he be at rank 4 middle stage? Next instance, the 7 all felt their hearts thump as they sensed the aura on Fang Yuan. Facts speak louder than words. Rank 4 middle stage. Not initial stage. Tai Ruanan's eyes opened wide and was stunned at the revelation. Chapter 360, 1 verses 7. Fang Yuan had been using breath concealment Gu and restrained his aura as much as possible. But now that he made a move, his true aura exploded out. Add into that, Tai Ruanan's group had the preconceived belief that Fang Yuan had rank 4 initial stage cultivation. Thus, for a moment, this 7-person group was very surprised. Rank 4 middle stage, this little beast king is so young but has surpassed young master Ruanan. Rank 4 middle stage, no wonder he could be so arrogant. So what if he is at rank 4 middle stage? He actually dared to approach us alone, he is simply seeking his own doom. All sorts of thoughts flashed in the Tai clan's group's minds. Thud. A dull sound echoed. Tai Ba Xiu came back to his senses the fastest and stiffly struck against Fang Yuan's fists in midair. Tai Ba Xiu stably fell to the ground while Fang Yuan was sent flying. Fang Zheng, you want to find trouble with us just by yourself. I know you want to rescue your partner by Ningbing, but think it over. You can't act rashly in a matter of rescuing someone, it is still not too late for you to pull back. If you continue to fight, you will truly be setting yourself against our Tai clan. If that happens, your partner's life will also be on the line. Tai Ba Xiu expressed himself in few words, seemingly earnest, but was in truth attempting to break Fang Yuan's fighting spirit, truly proving old ginger is hotter than new. He. Fang Yuan chuckled and looked at Tai Ba Xiu and the rest. his gaze completely exposed his killing intent. So what if you're a Tai clan? So what if I oppose you? If I really can't save Bai Ningbing, then I can only blame it on her bad luck. In any case, I already did my best. Such ruthless and indifference caused the Tai clan's 7 people to feel a chill in their hearts. Fang Yuan turned towards Tai Ao Kai. You over there, you don't need to scout anymore, it is just me alone. Frankly, this path you guys chose is really good, very hidden and very suitable for me to kill you all. Hearing these words, Tai Ba Xiu's expression completely turned dark. Fang Zheng, you are seeking your own death. Death? Fang Yuan started laughing loudly without any restraint. Is this guy crazy? Has Little Beast King going mad from cultivation and lost his mind? Demonic path people are all lunatics like this. The group all felt the situation was going to be problematic from the unbridled laughter of Fang Yuan. Fierce people were afraid of unreasonable people and unreasonable people were afraid of those that did not care about death. Despite there being 7 people in Tai clan's side and Fang Yuan was alone, the Tai clan's group felt fear. This type of lunatic that was suicidal and did not care about his own life, what was there that he could not do? Fang Yuan suddenly stopped laughing and stepped forward producing a loud sound. Like a tiger that left the mountain, he resumed his attacks again. Fight! Tai Ruanan shouted with a heavy expression, knowing this fight was inevitable. Tai Ba Xiu retreated and stood beside Tai Ruanan. Tai Daoist Gu and Tai Xianxia moved to the front together, and Tai Ao Kai started running at the side. The whole formation was instantly loosened up like a sack being opened, displaying their skilled battle tactics coordination. Charging Crash Gu. Fang Yuan rushed forward like a bull, the stones under him were smashed as he moved with powerful momentum and penetrated into Tai clan's sack without any fear. Little Beast King, you are simply too arrogant. Tai Xianxia shouted in her delicate voice and stretched out the 5 fingers of her right hand. There was a soft sound and an enormous black golden lotus flower blossomed instantly from her palm. The lotus bloomed, its huge petals were bent down, forming arcs like an umbrella. The dark green lotus stalk continued to grow and in a blink of an eye was over an arm's size, becoming the handle of the umbrella. Tai Xianxia plucked this lotus with her left hand and then charged towards Fang Yuan while holding the dark green lotus stalk. Umbrella Lotus Gu. Tai Xianxia was petite while the umbrella lotus was huge and completely covered her, becoming a shield and firmly protecting her. Fang Yuan sneered, a white elephant phantom appeared above him. Beast Phantom, the strength of an elephant. Bam! With no surprise, Fang Yuan sent Tai Xianxia, who was blocking his path, flying. Tai Xianxia flew a whole 10 feet like a dead leaf blown by the wind. What great strength! She gritted her teeth, enduring the intense pain from the collision. She twisted her body in the midair and quickly found a balance, landing on the ground without falling. But the expected attack did not follow. Fang Yuan ignored her existence and directly charged towards Tai Ruanan. Damn it, he is going after young master. We must block him, protect young master. The battle will and killing intent of the group was ignited when they saw Fang Yuan targeting Tai Ruanan. Tai Ruanan half-kneeled, her 2 hands were pressed on the ground. From the moment the battle started, she was creating a puppet. Plants grew wildly near her. The fragile grass beside her feet grew to an adult man's height. Dozens of huge grass intertwined, in the emerald green light, a grassman puppet was created. Grass Puppet Gu. Fang Yuan had seen rank 1 Grass Puppet Gu at Qing Mao Mountain. It was used as a target for practicing moon blades. Rank 1 Grass Puppet Gu was of no threat but once it reached rank 2, it could easily kill an ordinary hunter. The one Tai Ruanan was using right now was rank 3 grass puppet Gu. The grassman puppet she created was short and thin, the leaves tightly weaved together, its one hand was holding a bamboo blade and another hand was raising a rattan shell shield. This was rattan shell grass soldier. It possessed the strength to kill a rank 1 Gu master. Just one rattan shell grass soldier was no threat to Fong Yuan. But once their numbers increased, they became troublesome. Rattan shell grass soldier were often used as cannon fodder to consume the opposing Gu master's primeval essence. Most importantly, using a rank 4 Gu master's strength, a dozen rattan shell soldiers could combine into a rank 4 grass sword elite soldier. In this short moment, Tai Ruanan already had 18 rattan shell grass soldiers beside her. Tai Ruanan. Fong Yuan was filled with killing intent, his icy and sharp gaze firmly locked on to Tai Ruanan. This woman possessed outstanding talents similar to Bai Ningbing, and she had also investigated the affairs on Qing Mao Mountain. She could not be left alive. Fong Yuan had already wanted to kill her back at Shangclan City, but the time had not been good then. Tai Ruanan did not budge. She chose to believe in her partners and was still creating rattan shell grass soldiers. Block him. Tai Ao Kai flung his sleeves and a large swarm of golden needle mosquitoes flew out. Don't even think of taking a step further. Tai Dao Ku rushed towards Fong Yuan while activating Hand Blade Gu and Swift Shadow Gu. Fong Yuan laughed and directly clashed head-on without evading it. Golden needle mosquitoes pierced tiny blood holes all over his body. Tai Dao Ku's arms struck his chest and slashed out long wounds. Fong Yuan howled with laughter, and stepped forward with his head high, blood flowing out from the wounds all over his body. He is wounded. The Tai clan group was solemn. If it were other enemies that were wounded, the Tai clan group would feel happy and relaxed, but Fong Yuan possessed bitter strength Gu. The heavier the injuries he suffered, the stronger his fighting strength became. Green bull, horse, stone turtle. Sure enough, 3 more beast phantoms appeared above Fong Yuan. He opened the way with his huge strength that could not be blocked. Tai Xianxia rushed over and was casually sent flying by Fong Yuan. Tai Dao Ku helplessly retreated while Tai Ao Kai could only wander at the sidelines. Good, Tyrant Strength Gu. Fong Yuan was about to reach Tai Ruanan, when Tai Ba Xiu shouted and stepped forward. Bam! There was a huge explosive sound from the collision of the two. Both were sent back 7 to 8 steps. It was a draw. Fong Yuan had 4 beast phantoms, but Tai Ba Xiu was not famous for nothing. His rank 4 Tyrant Strength Gu was inherited from the ancient strength path and possessed the strength of a overlord. Interesting, again. Fong Yuan's eyes shone brightly and he charged forward again. Tai Ba Xiu greeted him head-on, firmly blocking his way. Tai Dao Ku and others all let out a breath of turbid air, feeling relief as they looked at this scene. Little Beast King is finally stopped. This is Senior Tai Ba Xiu. Feng Zheng is trapped within our tight encirclement, he is sure to die. The Tai clan group's fighting spirit soared as Fong Yuan lost his momentum. In their eyes, he was like a bull that had fallen into trap, his threat had greatly decreased. All of them joined in to attack. All kinds of attacks like swarm of golden needle mosquitoes, flower rain and hand blades were thrown at Fong Yuan from all directions. Fong Yuan's skin was torn open, the wounds on his body was becoming more serious and he had no choice but to use Golden Shield Gu to defend. At the same time, he also used Self-Reliance Gu to heal his body. The more he fought, the stronger he got, but Tai Ba Xiu was unexpectedly also the same. He possessed rank 5 Earth Overlord Gu which allowed him to absorb an endless amount of strength from the earth. making his tyrant strength Gu stronger and stronger. Tai Ba Xiu continuously activated Earth Overlord Gu, acquiring formless strength from the earth that empowered his tyrant strength Gu and continued to increase his strength. The battle was in a stalemate. Fang Yuan and Tai Ba Xiu fought intensely, beating each other up with punches and kicks. They were the center of the fight. Like human-shaped beasts, each of their moves carried heavy weight, and wherever the fight went, stones shattered and dust flew. Howl! Suddenly, there was a beast howl and a beast phantom appeared above Fang Yuan. Lightning curled around it, its tusks were exposed outside and it gave off extremely violent aura, Thunderboar Phantom. Tai Xianxia, who was blocking Fang Yuan's path, was suddenly sent flying. Umbrella Lotus Gu broke and its petals scattered in the air. Xianxia, persevere. Tai Mu rushed over and held Tai Xianxia, who was throwing up huge amounts of blood, and promptly began healing her. At the same time, a group of rattan shell grass soldiers came over and blocked any gaps in the surroundings, defending these two. By now, there were already close to 1,000 rattan shell grass soldiers around Tai Ruanan and were already providing support in the battle. At the same time, she was continuously creating new grassman puppets. Tai Ruanan walked the enslavement path, and one could not let an enslavement path Gu master like her have enough time to prepare. Enslavement path Gu masters were the best at fighting war of attrition. The longer the time passed, the more unfavorable Fang Yuan's situation would be. The best answer was to directly murder the leader. But this tactic would not work. Fang Yuan was firmly entangled with Tai Ba Xiu now. A ferocious junior. Tai Ba Xiu could not help but feel admiration towards Fang Yuan in his heart. Even though he had already predicted it, the strength Fang Yuan displayed still shocked him. He had thought Fang Yuan's power was due to the set of strength path Gu with him. Inheriting the precious Gu worms of ancient strength path, and moreover, their coordination was also exquisite. However, as the battle progressed till this stage, Tai Ba Xiu could hardly dare to believe the shrewdness, ruthlessness, calmness and steadiness Fang Yuan displayed. This lad's battle talent, if I was not personally fighting him, I would never believe that there would be such a monster. He needs to be killed. I must kill him. He is even more dangerous than what the intel said. If we give him time to grow, it will be a calamity for the righteous path. Tai Ba Xiu was shocked and his killing intent soared even more.